This is Mr. Everything, and I am coming back at you with another Wargaming and Miniature video. In this video, we're going to go ahead and continue on with our Waterloo project update. Now, in this update, what we're going to be doing is we're going to show off the 2nd Regiment, right? The 2nd Line Regiment for the French, part of Soy's Brigade. And what I've done here is I've got all 3 battalions. You can see the other 2 battalions over here. And there's this 1st battalion right there. A couple of things I noticed. Their Voltigears had yellow on the bottom and red on the top. I thought that was interesting. Yellow epaulets as opposed to the green with yellow highlights. Another thing I want to touch on is how I primed these. Now, you might have seen on Wargaming Wednesday, which is our Wednesday live stream. We start at 11 and go on till about 1 or so. On that stream, I showed off these figures, and I had primed them with ivory. And then also some light peach before I started painting these. I don't know if I like that. I think it worked out really well with these figures. I'm starting to see a lot more detail on these figures using that very light primer. I still washed the figures, and then I went over the wash with to highlight the straps. When I was painting this, I felt like it was very, how do I say it? Unnecessary. I prefer black primer or dark gray to assist with any shadowing or any like gaps in the painting that I might have. The black would kind of disguise that. But then I thought about it and I said, you know, the wash pretty much does that as well. It gets down into all those cracks and hides that. So I thought I'd try this ivory technique, which is not white, so it's not completely clear white. It's more of a off-white, and it kind of like let's get on camera. Kind of like this color right here as a primer color. It allowed the flesh to go on very easily. It allowed these great coats to have highlights, specifically on this next battalion. Let me pull it up. Okay, now I just threw this battalion on here real quick because this front row of models, I want you to take a close look at the greatcoat and the amount of detail that actually came out. These greatcoats look very good. They have the ivory undercoat, and then I went over them with their greatcoat colors. Now, I don't use the same color on all my greatcoats. You might notice that some of these greatcoats are darker, some are lighter, some are gray, some are brown. And that's exactly what I do. I have like 4 or 5 different colors that I use for my French greatcoats. And I also tried an additional technique, knowing that it was going to be ivory on the underside. I decided to thin my paint out a little bit, but I didn't want to thin it out so much that it became diluted. So what I started to use was a Liquitex matte medium as an extender to the paint, and I think it gave me a very good looking effect. I mean, I like the way it highlighted. Now, once I do the wash, right, I'm using soft tone. I use soft tone and I use a quick shade wash medium, and I usually do it like a 50-50 mix. It gives it that like muddy, dirty look to it, closer to the bottom where the wash settles. It kind of settles down into the cracks, but it also settles at the bottom of their trench coats, giving the bottoms more of a dirty, muddy look. And I kind of like that look, to be honest. All right, let me show you the next one. Yeah, and this is the last battalion. Now, I do have a before picture. I'll show you that real quick, where you can see what they look like before I actually washed them. And then these are after they've been washed and based and everything else. The command figures like the leader, the standard bearer, the drummer, those are all front rank models, and the rest are all warlord, and that's the same with all the battalions. This battalion has one additional front rank model. It's this guy right there. He's without a shako. He's advancing. He's not marching like the rest of them. He's basically he's eager to get to the fight, it looks like. Oh, and this one has the sapper down here. All right, so that's all three battalions. Now let me go ahead and let me set them out on the table without the turntable, and you can take some close-ups and take a look at them. Okay, now here's all three battalions laid out. Let me see if there's anything I needed to go over. Okay, you'll notice the center companies all have the blue pom-poms. Over here you got all the orange pom-poms, and over here you got all the purple pom-poms. I don't like using green pom-poms for my center companies because that usually conflicts with the Voltigears. In this case it wouldn't have, but I was just being consistent with all my other battalions. Of course, my skirmishers are all based on 20 by 40s, and they're magnetized down on a magnet, a 40 by 40 magnet. So you can have your grenadiers and your Voltigears can be skirmishers if you want to deploy them like that. GMB flags. Yeah. I believe this does complete the Soyuz Brigade. So I've only got a few more left to do, maybe about eight more battalions left, and I'll have Quatre Bras completely finished for the French. Yeah, we're doing good. And I've started, now this is a Waterloo project update, so this is not only just these figures, but also where I stand in my project. And I've started mapping out the Waterloo maps, taking the battalion, the amount of space that a battalion takes up on a table, which this happens to be 5 inches. Actually, it's, 4 3/4 inches. But I just counted it as 5. And I went to my Waterloo map and I looked at how much space the battalions were taking up on the actual battlefield, and and the regiments and the brigades and the divisions. And I just did some math, and I set up some tables for I set up a 5 by 9 table, which at a tournament or a convention, I could probably go bigger. I could probably go 6 by 12 or something like that and actually have bigger battlefields. But I took a map and then I broke it down into 5 by 9 squares, and I made 3 of them. I got one over Hougoumont, one over the center, D'Ilerron's core, and Bylant and Best and all them up there. Was at Picton's Brigade. I got that map, and then I also got the Papillote Plans Noir. I got the Plans Noir map where the Prussians and the French Guard and all that are in the right side. And then I started transferring data from my various spreadsheets to my what I've done is I've made like a Excel sheet with boxes that represent the battalions, and then what I'll start doing is I'll start showing those off in future videos once I get them a little closer to being complete. Right now they're just scattered boxes, and then I'll start filling them in based on everything I've got done for Quatre Bras that I'm going to be able to proxy into those other battles. I'm going to mark those off so I won't actually duplicate my work. Yeah, so I have started doing that. Also, I'm going to be starting 2 more projects that are not the Waterloo project. I'm going to start a 100 Years War project with some Burgundians. That's going to be coming up soon. As soon as I get the sword point rules in, I'm going to be doing that. And then I'm also going to be doing a Republican Roman project as soon as, and that's either going to be Hail Caesar or sword point, depending on which direction I want to go. I'm sure the way they have them based, I think I can use them in both game systems. I think that's pretty cool. So, and they basically use the same basing system that I got here. It's the 40 by 40 with 4 figures on a base. So that should be. But I don't think there's as many figures. I think like 3 bases would be a company in 100 Years War or what have you. I'll have to check it out. I haven't got those rules in yet. They should be coming in any day now. I have made 4 movement trays, 3 for this unit and 1 extra. Every time I paint a unit, I'm trying to make more movement trays than I need. That way I can start putting those movement trays on units that I've already got finished. Now the Allied side, I've got pretty much all of the non-British figures done. I think I've got like 3 to 5 Hanover units, which are pretty much painted like British. And then I've got some actual British. I think I've got like 4 British units that I've got to paint. And then that will be finished. Oh, maybe 5 if we count the guards. Yeah, I got 1 more guard battalion that I need to do. So probably about 5 of British and 5 Hanover units. And then the Allied side will be done as well. So I'm pretty close. I'm looking at maybe about 17 total battalions. Yeah, somewhere in that neighborhood. And a couple of those are French cavalry, like dragoons. But I think we're getting really close. Now I've got a front rank dragoon unit, and I have a Warlord Games dragoon unit, or maybe it's Perry. Let me take a look real quick. It's actually Perry. I've got a Perry dragoon and a front rank dragoon. Also, just a little note, news to the wise. I noticed that Warlord has got some upcoming figures that they're working on. It's the Belgians, the Dutch and the Belgians. When they release those models, I'll be getting those for sure, and I'll be painting them up and probably using them as well in my army. I already have some Dutch Belgians. They're almost all parry or front rank, but I'd like to see what the Warlord models look like. All right, and yeah, and be sure to come check us out on Wednesday morning between 11 to 1. We do a live stream. Oh yeah, and follow us on Twitter as well. I update Twitter with photographs of my progress and like what we've done so far, and just various models that I paint that I might not do in a project. Like, let's just say I painted a D&D model or something like that. I'll put it up on my Twitter, so be sure to check that out. All right, thanks for coming out and checking out this Waterloo project update, and I'll see you next time.